If you are a Christian and you do not keep the Sabbath day when and how God asked, then I really think you should watch this video. For the record, on TikTok, I have an entire playlist for the Sabbath. And on YouTube, if you just type Sheepdog Ministries Sabbath, you can find endless amounts of videos that I do on all the scripture in the Bible as to why Christians today should still be keeping the Sabbath. And when I tell Christians that we should still be keeping the Sabbath today, just like Jesus did, probably the most common objection I get is that they believe that the law for the Sabbath was only given to the Jews. Now, I've gone over many other ways in Scripture that this is not true, but I want to give you one flat out in Scripture that shows you it wasn't just given to the Jews. Isaiah chapter 56, and the foreigners who join themselves to the Lord to minister to him, to love the name of the Lord, and to be his servants, everyone who keeps the Sabbath and does not profane it and holds fast to my covenant. These I will bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices will be accepted on my altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. This is one of the many verses in the Old Testament that says that the Gentiles will be grafted in. And what does it say they'll be doing in verse 6? It says they will be keeping the Sabbath and not profaning it. Someone's probably going to argue that this is the old covenant, but guess what? This never happened. The Gentiles were never grafted in and keeping the Sabbath in the Old Testament. That didn't happen till after Jesus came. And there's tons of evidence in the New Testament that the Gentiles that were being grafted in the original first century churches were in fact keeping the Sabbath. And remember what God said in Exodus 31. And God said to Moses, "You are to speak to the people of Israel and say, 'Above all, you shall keep my Sabbaths, for this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I, the Lord, sanctify you. You shall keep the Sabbath because it is holy for you. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death.'" And remember, you get grafted into the covenant made with Israel. Hebrews chapter 8, "Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will establish a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah." All those instructions in the beginning of the book for Israel, they're for you. And that includes keeping Sabbath throughout all your generations. And just in case you still don't believe me, Exodus 12, "There shall be one law for the native and for the stranger who sojourns among you." God's laws are for anyone that wants to be God's people.